Halo 2's ending was a controversial one, as fans would now have to wait years to finish the fight. But on May 9th, 2006, Halo 3 was announced to stupendous reception. Running in the Halo 3 engine, this trailer was essentially a mission statement from Bungie for what Halo 3 would look like, sound like, and feel like. A year and a half later, Halo 3 would release and fans would finish the fight. Now, as we wait for Halo 3 to come to PC for the very first time, we ask, what is Halo 3? Halo 2 was quite the shift for Bungie and for the Halo series as a whole. Its rushed finish left Bungie in a precarious, unenviable position, and now they had to follow up their second surprise success with yet another. There were fights, there were disagreements, leadership would disappear for months. Halo 2, one could say, almost broke Bungie. But eventually, a leadership committee was able to come together and forge a plan for Halo 3's story and direction. The planned ending for Halo 2, at least by the later stages of development, involved a return to Earth, the Chief and Arbiter fighting alongside each other on the Ark, killing the Prophet of Truth, and ending the war. This became the outline for Halo 3's story, with what might have been a few levels stretched out into a full campaign. The Ark was now an intergalactic installation, the original Ark now a portal built on Earth, and the opening levels of Halo 3 essentially a defend Earth filler until the plot kicks in around level 5 or so. In addition, due to backlash against playing as the Arbiter in Halo 2, Halo 3 would once again be a Chief-focused affair. While the Arbiter does appear in the game, he comes off as rather flat compared to his Halo 2 incarnation. However, fans who did enjoy playing as the Arbiter would not be completely left in the dirt, as Bungie implemented what is probably one of the best approaches to co-op in the Halo series for Halo 3. Traditional Halo co-op had players play as clones of the main playable character. Halo 3 is one of the two Halo games that would stray from this, allowing players to play as Canon characters. Player 1 would be the Chief, Player 2 would be the Arbiter, and Players 3 and 4 would take on the newly created characters of Unto Sraum and Uze Taham, respectively. These latter two characters both had crafted backstories and unique models. In addition, if at least one extra person is in play, many cutscenes and even some gameplay moments would be altered to include the Arbiter in different ways, though sadly this would not be the case for Unto and Uze. Marketing for Halo 3 was the largest that had ever been seen at the time, with the tagline "Finish the Fight," hyping up fans for months. Live-action, story-driven trailers were produced which, while not necessarily new for gaming, certainly set a new bar for such material going forward. The Believe marketing campaign, consisting of several live-action shorts with in-universe characters and the John 117 monument, also contributed heavily to fan anticipation for Halo 3. How well this marketing, especially Believe, represented the final product is something that's still debated today, but the excitement generated cannot be overstated. There was also an ARG, not unlike with Halo 2, though this one didn't feature any accompanying audio drama. Still, the Iris campaign, as it's called, drew in dedicated fans and revealed story behind the fall of the Forerunners, their war with the Flood, and hinted at potential story points for Halo 3, though not everything hinted at would come to fruition. That said, the story of Iris would, in spirit, be continued with the introduction of terminals hidden throughout Halo 3's campaign. This concept should be old hat by now, but back in 2007 it was a radical new concept for many fans, a new channel for storytelling. In truth though, these terminals were actually a throwback to Halo's spiritual predecessor, Marathon. This can be seen in the achievement title for finding these terminals, Marathon Man. The final Halo 3 campaign blew fans away at the time and ended on a rather poetic note, with fans almost ending their journey with Chief the way they had started it, in a cryopod. That said, the campaign is by no means perfect. The story picked apart at the time for its substandard length of 6 to 8 hours, plot inconsistencies, and more. The Brutes being the main enemy too was criticized, some people preferring the Elites, others lamenting the gameplay differences from Halo 2. The scrutiny has only increased as time has gone on. However, the core gameplay and level design were and remain a high point for Halo as a whole. Upon release, Halo 3 was a global phenomenon, setting a record at the time with $170 million in sales in the first 24 hours. That's even more amazing when you remember that Halo 3 was an Xbox 360 exclusive. Halo's music has always left an impact, and Halo 3 was no exception. CE set the groundwork, Halo 2 added new sounds to the library and even brought in outside artists to contribute music. Halo 3's claim to fame for its music was the use of a live orchestra for the first time in the franchise. This resulted in more powerful music, a stronger impact when those high notes and crescendos hit. And the impact of Halo 3 would be felt beyond just its campaign and music. When developing Halo 2, Bungie had basically looked to overhaul Halo's experience, and while they never achieved their true goals, Halo 2 was very much a new approach to the Halo experience. Speaking for myself at the moment, I started with Halo 2, and when I finally got to play Halo CE, I was shocked at how different the original game played compared to its sequel. For Halo 3, however, the core gameplay was more of a refinement of Halo 2's experience, with a few new bells and whistles thrown in. Dual wielding, vehicle boarding, and the addition of new weapons all made returns in Halo 2. The assault rifle returned as a new starting weapon, Bungie wanting to avoid the impact of dual wieldable weapons as a default weapon. With the focus on the brutes, the brute arsenal was also expanded to include the spiker or spike rifle, the mauler, a mini shotgun of sorts, and brute vehicles like the chopper and prowler. Power-ups like overshield and invisibility returned, but the main new addition to the sandbox was equipment, a battlefield pickup that could be deployed at a player's discretion. It could almost be called a fourth gameplay pillar alongside guns, grenades, and melee, the classic golden triangle of Halo. Through its life, Halo 3 would be one of the most popular games on Xbox Live, often topping the popularity charts and boasting an online population in the hundreds of thousands to millions, at least within a 24-hour period. At launch, Halo 3 contained 11 maps, with 13 more releasing between 2007 and 2010. One map, Cold Storage, a remake of Halo CE's Chill Out, was released for free on Bungie Day in 2008. The steady flow of maps and the achievements that often accompanied them ensured a long and healthy life for Halo 3, though what would often bring most players back again and again was its ranking system. Halo 2 had used an Elo Rating System for its ranks, which, while popular at the time, had its drawbacks and limitations. For Halo 3, Bungie used Microsoft's new True Skill Rating System to match players against others of similar skill. A player's true skill rating would be determined based on a win-loss ratio, each ranked playlist having its own rating, and that rating, a number from 1 to 50, would be displayed next to a player's nameplate before a match. In addition, each win would gain a player an experience point. The combination of experience and rating would become a player's global rank. Contrary to some beliefs, Halo 3's ranks were not in any way based on ranks in the Halo universe, but regardless, the drive to rank up kept players returning time and time again. And in 2008, Bungie introduced a rank for each playlist based on experience earned within that playlist, further incentivizing players. Customizing your look has been part of Halo since day one, but Halo 3 is when customization really took off, not just allowing a player to select between a Spartan and an Elite, select a couple colors, and select an emblem, but also allowing them to customize the armor for their player model. Armors could be unlocked through certain achievements, allowing players to select a helmet, chest, and shoulders. Spartans had 7 unique armor sets plus 3 additional helmets and an extra chest piece, while Elites had 5 unique armor sets, some of which incidentally appeared in the campaign. Matchmaking generally worked the same as Halo 2, with ranked playlists matching players of similar skill, and social playlists that found the quickest matches possible. A new veto system also allowed players a small amount of control over the matchmaking experience. Simply put, if more than half of players selected veto on whatever came up in matchmaking, a new game type and map combo would appear. While not my cup of tea, the system has received a lot of praise from the community at large. Custom games have been a popular part of Halo since the days of CE, acting as a major part of CE's initial popularity and allowing for the establishment of community games like Zombies or professional leagues like Major League Gaming. With Halo 3, Bungie wanted to take custom games to a new level. One part of that was more tools for customizing the gaming experience with more game types, player traits, custom power-ups, and more. The other part was a map editor known as Forge. Forge allowed players to further customize a map experience, placing objects, custom spawn points, weapons, equipment, and much more. Between Forge and custom game settings, players could create, or in some cases recreate, unique game types and experiences never seen or imagined in Halo. Fat Kid, Duck Hunt, Jenga, Jigsaw, Race, and perhaps most famously, Griffball, among so many more. Alternatively, players could tune maps to fit a game type experience, such as MLG's custom game types and maps, or Infection, the official version of Halo 2's zombie game type, custom maps. As time went on and new maps released, Bungie also included what we'll call Forge canvases for the sake of discussion. These are maps that could be cleared out, leaving a large open space for customization. The first of these was Foundry, the birthplace of Griffball, and later Sandbox, which had 3 unique areas to forge in. Through Halo 3's life, the emerging Forge community discovered unique tricks and methods to forge more and more unique maps. Much of these tricks would go on to inform future Forge features in sequel games. Halo 3 launched with 11 maps and gained 13 more over the course of its life, but Forge expanded that base offering on a level that I don't think even Bungie could have ever imagined. Forge was not the only new feature included with Halo 3. Machinima is part of the lifeblood of Halo, and to aid its community as well as just let fans relive epic moments over and over, Bungie developed Theater, a tool that could record game data from campaign, custom games, Forge, or online multiplayer, and recreate a match moment to moment in real time. Players could thus load up a recently played or saved game and either rewatch a previous experience or use a free-roaming camera to watch what else was going on in a given game. For Machinima, of course, this opened up the avenue to dozens of creators, resulting in a Machinima boom that I think has yet to be rivaled, at least in terms of quantity. There are still top-notch Machinima creators out there, but anyone around in 2007 to 2010 can surely remember loading up YouTube or machinima.com on an at least weekly basis for new creations. And that wraps it up for Halo 3. Both Halo CE and Halo 2 changed gaming forever, one with the way shooters and even games at large were approached for console development, and two changing online multiplayer forever. I said in my previous What Is video that it's hard for a sequel to leave the same impact as its predecessor, but once again Halo 3 was no slouch. While it may not have had as wide an impact, its online popularity, new features, and the sheer amount of hype surrounding its marketing and release ensured it would never be forgotten by fans. As I come to the end of this video, it's kinda weird how I've said less about Halo 3 than CE or Halo 2 at this point, but it's important to remember that we didn't have as much to cover in terms of re-releases and ports and whatnot. That said, we wrap up as always with media that you can look at to further enhance your Halo 3 experience. First up is the comic Halo Uprising, which bridges the brief gap between the end of Halo 2 and the start of Halo 3. The main story is split between the Master Chief hunting down the Prophet of Truth on board the Dreadnought and a pair of human civilians trying to survive the invasion of Earth. It was Halo's second foray into comics, and while not universally well received, I find it to be a great read nonetheless. Next, we have content surrounding the Halo 3 Believe campaign. With this, I'm very happy to promote Halopedia's reconstruction of the Halo 3 Believe website, which takes visitors through the John 117 monument while giving information on the Battle of New Mombasa. It has very little, if anything, to do with Halo 3's actual story, but the experience is worthwhile on its own, especially in combination with the video interviews of former UNSC personnel. After that, we have more marketing, this time the first Halo live-action commercials, collectively called Halo Landfall. This was an interesting project, as these were made to both promote Halo 3 and to generate interest in the then-in-development Halo movie. Directed by Halo movie director Neil Blomkamp, with props produced by Weta Workshop, the first part shows a Marathon-class cruiser being resupplied by a Mizraia Armory plant on Mars. The second and third parts show UNSC Marines and ODSTs fighting against Covenant forces in Pakistan, trying to recover and use a targeting laser so they can track the Master Chief as he falls to Earth. This essentially leads right into Halo 3's opening cutscene. And finally, there's Halo 101, The Long Road Home, a video that goes into what happened between Halo 2 and Halo 3 for various characters in the games. The original was produced by 343 Industries in the early days of Halo Waypoint, and reproduced later on when Halo 2 Anniversary was coming out. And while the information wasn't necessarily new, it consolidates a ton of disparate info into an easy-to-consume video. With the exception of the comic Halo Uprising, everything I've mentioned is available online in one format or another, and as such are all linked in the description box below. Halo 3, regardless of your feelings towards it, was the right game at the right time, an experience that I don't think we'll ever see again in gaming. Leave your thoughts on Halo 3 in the comments below, and until next time, this has been Halo Canon. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, and if you really love me, hit that notification bell and leave a thumbs up. These both really help out the channel. I wouldn't be where I am now without your views and support, so once again, thank you. Keep on being awesome, Canonites.